So if you're going through some sort of negative cycle or not feeling the best right now, you will get through this. And I'm not just saying that to motivate you to feel good, anything like that. Like, hopefully you can feel better by knowing this, hopefully. But the reality is I'm saying this because I know you will get through this. And I'm going to share with you a few things that helped me get through some of my tougher times in life. I remember my first ever time, like, sometimes you go through these tough times and there can be one sense where you know why you're going through it. Like something's happened that's triggered this. Like maybe it's a breakup or finishing a job or uncertainty in life or something happens like a transition. Or there could be some times where you just wake up and you're not even sure why, but you just don't even feel like getting out of bed. You just don't even feel like being motivated to do the things that you was doing like yesterday or the day before, or the week before. So in this video, regardless of what stage you're in or what cycle you're in, you will feel better. I'm telling you, if you do the first thing that I'm going to share with you in this video, you will already feel better. If you do the second and third thing, either in the second thing that you do or the third thing that I'm going to share with you, you will have a smile on your face. I know for some of you watching this, you'll be thinking like, Josh, that's BS. You're just saying that to hook me to the end of the video so I keep watching. Actually, that's not the truth. The reason why is because I'm telling this because this is my experience, what I experienced. And you will see, when I get to the end of this, you will see why you will be smiling at the end. But you gotta trust me. And what I mean by that is not just hear what I'm saying and say, hey, this sounds good, leave a like button, comment, thank you, Josh. Actually do the things I wanna share because they will change your energy, change your vibration, change your feeling, change your destiny path if you wanna go that deep, just by doing these things today. So the very first thing I'm gonna share with you, because the reason why I'm sharing these as well is because I remember my first ever time when I was going through what some might say a negative cycle or feeling more anxious throughout the days or feeling a bit quote unquote depressed. The first ever time was because I just finished uni. I had loads of friends at uni, had a really good time at uni, but then when I finished, I didn't really want to go the usual get a corporate job, do the 9 to 5, rat race, then look forward to retiring, sell your life away, pay taxes, and then when you're like 60, 70, 80, you can enjoy life. I didn't really want to do that. But my friends were all doing that. So imagine this, my friends left uni, went corporate job route, got the 9 to 5, all that sort of stuff. I left uni, didn't get a corporate job. I went back home to work with my dad on his business. But that meant that I didn't have my own freedom like at uni. I was sleeping back on my parents' sofa, earning less than £100 or dollars every single week. So not much. Then it hit me, like a few weeks into this, it hit me like, whoa, my life has changed. Have I done the right thing? All my friends are earning like 20, 30, 40K just straight out of uni. I'm not earning that. All my friends are having all this fun doing, like, you see the highlight reels on social media. But don't get me wrong, I wasn't even overthinking this stuff because I was very aware that I didn't want to do that. But sometimes life, like naturally these things catch up with you in your subconscious. Whether you realize it or not, sometimes your subconscious is playing on these thoughts. You know what I mean? Like you might not even be thinking consciously, but in the back of your mind, it's there. So I remember some days I would wake up and I would just get on with my day, starting helping my dad with the business. It was like an online business. We was doing like Amazon FBA back then. And I would be doing stuff and then like halfway throughout the day, I'll just be sitting on the couch and feeling like I just couldn't be bothered anymore. Like, don't get me wrong, like I was grateful that I was working with my dad. I was grateful that I had a roof over my head, but I can't even explain it. It was just like, I just didn't want to continue doing what I was doing. I just felt this feeling of like, I'm not even motivated. I wasn't even motivated to get off the couch to go to the kitchen to get a glass of water. It was just like, sometimes these moments would just hit and you'd be like, I had no clue like why it was affecting me like this, but I just didn't feel it. But the beautiful thing is, sometimes when we're feeling these things, you have these inner voice, this inner guidance. Whether you're in tune with intuition or not so much, it's there, regardless of whether you consciously are aware or not. And I remember I would have this feeling, and this is the first thing I'm going to share with you. Have this feeling to just go out of the house and go to the park around the corner. Around the corner, like near my house, there was this like park with lots of greenery and stuff. And don't get me wrong, like I'm into spirituality, but it wasn't even from a context of go out there, be in nature. It was just like this feeling to just go out there. So the first point I want to share with you is get out. Get out of where you're at. Now, this doesn't have to be a park. I'm going to explain to you why I felt the park, but it's other things. And I'm going to share with you what else you could do. So when I was sitting there, I would have this feeling to just go to the park. But just because I had that feeling didn't mean that I would go. Why? Because I was feeling like I couldn't be asked to do anything. Like it was like, I'll just get on, do the work. But in the back of my mind and all these different thoughts and everything was happening, I just couldn't be asked. But then eventually, like this undeniable force would just, when you know that something's good for you and you need to do it. Even if you don't want to do it, you just know that you should do it. And I hit a point where I was like, you know what, I'm not feeling like good here. I'm getting all these feelings, these emotions that I couldn't even intellectualize or verbalize. It was just feelings of just like slight anxiety or major anxiety or just worry or just concern, just these things. So one of the days I just went out. I put my shoes on, I wasn't feeling it, walked up the road, walked around the corner, walked onto this main road, and finally got into this park that's near my house. When I got there, like it wasn't like an instant shift. But as I got there and I was walking around next to the trees in this big park area, all of a sudden after 20, 30 minutes of being there, like I kid you not, my energy shifted. Like I went from this like helpless feeling of not being able to, not knowing what I need to do in life exactly, not knowing how I'm going to achieve these goals. Because don't get me wrong, when I left uni, I had these big goals, these big things that I wanted to achieve. But somewhere in that phase, it was almost like I felt like I was off track and I don't know how I was going to achieve them. I was trying things, but things were just not working out to what I expected them to be. But anyway, 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes sometimes in this park, even though I'm just sitting down, just by being there, my energy shifted. Now, the reason why I say get out is because for me, I would recommend everyone, if you're going through a tough time, at least once a day, go out somewhere in nature, if you can. Whether it's to your local park or if you're in a country like in Asia or somewhere and you've got nature just around here, just go out in nature. It will make a huge difference. I can feel it. Even when I'm working here, because me and my girlfriend, we work here. This is just like our Airbnb. Even when working here, even though I enjoy what I'm doing these days, you know, it gets to a point where sometimes there's that mental energy in the room. But you just going, not even saying cleanse the room, you just going outside already changes that. Just because obviously, you know, nature has these natural healing frequencies, these natural, even like I didn't do this back then, but even if you was to take your shoes off, grounding, like the scientific study showing that it reduces inflammation, discharges this negative energy. So if you wanted to look like a hippie, I'm not going to go spiritual on you right now, but if you wanted to look like a hippie and actually get even more benefits from getting into nature, you can do that too. But I didn't do that back then. Just by walking on my trainers, like not feeling like doing anything, then all of a sudden walking into this park and being supercharged by this park, then all of a sudden feeling better. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it was that day felt better, boom, became a millionaire. It wasn't like that. Don't get me wrong, that would be a cool story, but it wasn't like that. It was just a case of this consistent thing of whenever I would have this feeling of just like helplessness, not knowing what to do, just feeling like a bit like crap. If I went to that park, I would feel better. Like obviously it was to different levels. Like if I was feeling here, some days if I go to the park, I would feel here. Some days I'd feel here, some days I'd feel here. But it was always better than just by staying in the house, wallowing in those emotions. So you can go to a park. The reason why I titled this first thing, Get Out, is because there was another part in my life that it wasn't, after uni, some of you guys will know that I got mentored by this multi-millionaire, worked with him, went into business collaboration with him and did a lot of stuff, like a lot of different events. In a period when I was working with him, there was a period where things were looking good on the outside, like I was traveling, I was impacting thousands of people every single week. My social media, all my friends were like, Josh, you're so lucky you get to do all this. But on the inside, I knew that something was missing. And I don't know if you might be going through something like that right now, where on the outside, it looks like life is good. You know, maybe friends, family, people are commenting like, wow, you got a good life. But on the inside, you know that there's something missing. So back then, I would feel a similar feeling like, and actually I think it was worse than after uni, because it was like on the outside it looked like I had, at least when I was after uni, I could see on the outside I didn't have these things. So I kind of knew, oh, this is probably the reason why. When I was working with that millionaire, it was like on the outside I had all these things that I always wanted. But now it was kind of worse because it was like, what now? So then anyway, back then, it wasn't when I was feeling this, I got that feeling again to go out. But it wasn't necessary to go out in nature. I just knew that I needed to go to the gym. I just had this feeling, go to the gym, Josh, because you'll feel better. Like, I didn't want to go to the gym. It was the days when I was going back home. I was finishing work. After work, I'll be with my housemate. My housemate would say, Josh, you want to eat? What we're going to eat today? I'll be like, I'm good. I'm just going to go to my room. I would stay in my room, lie in my bed for like the whole night. Like, I was feeling so, I don't want to say depressed, because sometimes I think depressed, that word is used a lot these days. But if you want to go towards that direction, just not feeling like doing anything, right? That type of thing. That I didn't even want to watch Netflix. I didn't want to watch YouTube. I didn't want to be on my phone. I was just lying there under my quilt with like a lamp on, just like ultimate depressed vibes. like I can laugh about it now, but I know if you're in that moment right now, it's not funny. But at the end of the day, it was like that for me. But I remember I had this feeling, just get out, go to the gym. And when I would go to the gym, like, don't get me wrong, it wouldn't fix me just there and then. The next two points that I'm going to give will help you with this. But going to the gym was that initial spark to get that energy moving, get that energy flowing. So that's why this first thing I'm going to say, guys, if you're in like some negative cycle or not feeling like you're in the best place right now, the main thing you got to do every single day, you got to get out. Whether you get out and go to the gym, whether you get out and get into nature, whether you get out and go to somewhere that you feel called to go. Notice, I'm not saying that you have to go out to nature or just go to the gym. Why? Because that was my unique journey. But for you, it might be completely different. But I know for a fact that you have some inner guidance in you that's guiding you. You probably already know what you need to do. It's just that you don't feel like doing it. The difference between me back then on most of those days, not all of those days, because some of those days I still wouldn't even go to the park and I'll just feel worse. Or I wouldn't go to the gym and I'll feel worse. But the days when I even didn't feel like doing it, didn't want to do it, but did it, I felt so much better after. So you got to get out. Either go into nature, do some super hippie vibes, take your shoes off, feel the connected energy to the ground, to the grass, or sand, wherever you're at, or even the beach, wherever you are in the world, some part of nature, or even your garden if you've got a garden with some nature. But I'd recommend even getting out your garden. Like as in, you can go to your garden if it's got nature, but I'd recommend getting out of your house environment because it's like a different environment. You know what I mean? Like it does something to the brain. So that's the first thing, get out, either gym, nature, or somewhere that you feel called to. It could be like some monument or something. You never know, your inner guidance will guide you. The second thing that I want to share with you is, I told you, right, like when I finished uni, I had these big goals that I knew that I wanted to achieve, but I didn't know how I was going to achieve them. And then as time went on, I saw that I was doing all this effort, but nowhere near achieving these things. And I had no clue how I was going to achieve them. It seemed like so far. But what I did, the second thing, is kind of linked to the third thing, but the third thing is kind of funny. And it's kind of like, why would you do that? But I'll explain why you do that in a moment. But the second thing that I did was all the goals that I knew that I wanted to achieve, even though I didn't know how I was going to achieve them, when I was at that park, I would sit down on this bench in the park. It was like on top of this nice mountain, and it was like one bench on top of this mountain with this monument with like loads of trees behind it. And I'll just stare into the grass. And back then I had like 3 main goals that I was working on. One was like financial, one was like for relationship, and one was, I don't even know what the other one was. I think the other one was like speaking or something. I can't remember exactly, but something to do with personal development. And I was sitting on this bench and there's 3 trees and I had 3 goals. So I remember looking at these trees and just almost like, it sounds weird, like this sounds crazy, but this is what I was doing. I was sitting on the bench and I was seeing each tree like representing my goal. And I was looking at these trees, like seeing them like flourishing, knowing that these are my goals. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I know that I'm going to achieve it. And this is not faking it till you making it. This is you knowing that, for example, out of the millions or billions of people in the world, and out of the millions of people who could have seen this video, who are on social media, who are on YouTube, you are the one who has seen this video. You are the one who has clicked on this video. You are the one who has watched this minute in the video, this far in the video. So obviously there's a reason for you. There's some message here for you, meant for you. So this message that I'm sharing with you is because even when I was sitting on that bench and I had no clue how I was going to achieve it, I was feeling better just by being out of my normal environment. And I was sitting on the bench and I was looking at these trees, feeling better, knowing that I don't know how I'm going to achieve them, but I know that I'm going to achieve them. Then the interesting thing is, then all of a sudden, sometimes ideas would come. Oh, Josh, what if we did this? Like, what if you did this? Like, sounds weird, I'm talking to myself, but you know what I mean? Like, you have these thoughts, right? Like, what if we did this? Or maybe I should be working on this, or maybe I should be doing this. Like, random ideas would just come to my mind that weren't so random. They were things that were helping me to achieve those things. So this is why I say that the second thing is all to do with those things that you want to achieve. Even if they seem so far out of life right now, like so disconnected because of where you are right now, compared to where you feel like you could be or want to be or should be, just feel those things, whether you feel them in your mind or you see them as a physical representation or you write them down. But when you feel into them, think into them, look into them, know that you will achieve it. Like, even when the mind tries to kick in and say, hey, but I don't know how to do that, but it's been 1 year or 5 years or 10 years or so many decades and it's not happened, it's probably not gonna. No, don't listen to those voices. You listen to that, you'll get stuck in that perpetual cycle. These 3 things are how to end this cycle today. So the second thing is all to do when you're thinking these things, visualizing these things, and like vibing with these things, like in the physical or writing them down or in your mind, know that you're going to achieve it. Be happy, like not forceful, just like feel that consent that like, I don't know how it's going to work, but I just know it's going to happen. This was the literal vibe that I was sitting on this bench. Imagine a few years back, or 4 or 5 years back, I was sitting on this bench in this park, looking at these trees, feeling like they were my goals. And I would just be looking at these trees, like reminding myself what this goal is, what this goal is, what this goal is. And kind of like feeling into like, I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it feels good. Like when this does happen, like it was just this weird like feeling of knowing that it's gonna happen without knowing how it's gonna happen, but not needing to know how it's gonna happen. Trust me, if you just try this today, where you just think about your goals, these things, knowing that you will achieve it somehow. Let any ideas or things come to you because they will help you, but not being attached to how it's gonna happen. Like trust me, it will change your life. You combine it with this third thing that I'm gonna say as well, it will start to build this momentum. This is why I say, like, first thing, remember at the beginning of the video, I didn't lie to you. You do the first thing, you will feel better. The second and the third thing is where the smile will come in. So either, trust me, when you do the second thing that I just mentioned, thinking about your goal, visualizing it, seeing it, writing it down, knowing that you're going to achieve it, but F it. You don't know how you're going to achieve it right now, but you are going to achieve it. Trust me, for me, those goals that I had on those trees, they were achieved. And they weren't achieved by my logical mind thinking, okay, I'm going to do this, then this, then this. Yeah, you can think you know how to do it, but trust me, the most random thing will happen. That millionaire who I said that I worked with, I didn't apply to work with him. All of a sudden, imagine this, I'm being mentored by a millionaire. He's mentoring thousands of people. One day, he messaged me privately. Imagine this, a multi-millionaire celebrity with millions of following. Actually, back then he had around 1 million following. Now he has millions of following, but around 1 million following collectively, messaging me privately saying, hey Josh, what's up? What are you up to these days? Man, you can't plan for these things. If my mind was to try and think how I was going to make these steps to achieve these goals, I would never, I'm saying that 3 times and louder and louder and louder so you get this point, never have imagined or even wished for that to happen, because I would never even think that could happen. A millionaire wanting me to help and I'm broke, I don't even know this. No, but trust me, you start doing these things to change your feeling, change your vibration. And some of you guys may be spiritual, you know that I'm into spirituality, but those of you who might be even logical minded and like not too into spirituality and stuff, I'm not even getting too woo. You just changing the neural pathways, you just changing the chemicals, you just changing the brain waves in your brain will change the things that you see, the way that things react to you. So just by doing these things, all of a sudden I get that message, hey Josh, what are you doing, what are you up to? Cut long story short, ended up going to his company and then working for him and then going into business collaboration a few years later. Like crazy. So this is why these things, don't take them lightly. It sounds simple, yeah, go into nature, yeah, visualize your goals or fit into them. Don't need to know how they're gonna happen, but just be happy that they're gonna happen. Sounds simple, but trust me, this is not just simple. If you see, and that's my beautiful girlfriend walking in the view. Some of you guys know her, actually, her name's Polly. If you wanna check out her channel, just Polly. You've seen her here, you'll see her there. So third thing, because actually we need to go gym. We need to go gym now, so let me cover this third thing real quick. So third thing, after you've done those 2 things, third thing is I want you to take pictures. Like pull out your phone, where you're staying, your environment, like trust me, especially if you're not living in a mansion. If you're living in a place where you probably want to live in a different house, or maybe your car, you'd prefer to have a different car, maybe your bank balance isn't showing the most sexy number right now, take a picture of all of this. Reason why is because you will use this as a story at some point in the future. Trust me, whether you want to be an influencer, speaker or not, doesn't matter. You will use this as a story. People tend to take pictures of the good things, but not the bad things. But then in the future, when the good things are happening, they wish that they took pictures of the bad things, because it's kind of like, hey, look what happened. And inspiring other people, even just sharing with a friend, even just reminding yourself, being like nostalgic and stuff. The reason why I did this back then was because I watched something, I think it was by Mindvalley. I remember Vishen, he gave his whole story about when he was living in, I think, this apartment with he was sleeping on a couch and all this sort of stuff before. Obviously he's got like a multi-million-dollar company right now. When he said this, he was like, yeah, take pictures. I think he either said it or I just thought about it, because I saw his picture. I was like, that's cool to have, like in the future. It links to the second point. Remember, like, I didn't know how I was going to achieve these things, but I knew that I was. So what I did, and I use these pictures now when I go on, if I'm speaking on stages or different online events, and I show like if I ever talk about my story, I use these pictures where it's got like a picture of my parents' couch and I show this is where I was sleeping. It's got a picture behind the couch, this is where I was working. It's got a picture the other side of the room, this is where I was eating. Like my whole life existed here. Then all of these other pictures are like times back in the day where like if I was like sleeping at my nan's house or sleeping at my parents' house, and just times where in the moment wasn't feeling the best. Feeling like tough times, negative cycle, anxiety, depression, worry, all these different things, right, to different extremities. But I took pictures. Now, I kid you not, these are the exact same pictures that I use to inspire people. Inspire myself, first of all, but inspire others. So the reason why I'm saying take these pictures, because when you're taking these pictures, you're going to tell yourself, hey, yeah, this isn't the most sexiest bank account. This isn't the most sexiest place that I'm staying. This isn't the most sexiest life that I have, or car, whatever you take a picture of, whatever you feel called to. But I know that I'm taking this picture because in a few months' time, or 1 year's time, 2 years' time, or whatever period of time it is, I'm going to be in a completely different like zone, completely different life, and I'm going to use these pictures to show where I came from, to show not for an ego sense, but to show other people that if I can do this, you can do this. This is going to be your story, trust me. They say turn your mess into your message. So these are the three things, you know, so you do this today. First one is get out, get into nature, go to gym, go to that place that you feel called, get out of that environment, get out. Second thing is see those goals, that things that you want to achieve, or even if you don't have a clue what you want to achieve right now, feel into something that you just wouldn't mind having. Like if you don't know what your big goal is right now, it doesn't matter. Feel into something that you would like to have, like if it's different quality of life, or maybe it's even just feeling better right now. Like not feeling like you're in a tough cycle, but feeling better. Don't need to know how it's going to happen. It will naturally happen by doing these three things I'm telling you. But don't need to know the specifics. Just know that it will happen and just feel happy. Feel content. Even if you don't feel happy, feel content. Feel satisfied. Feel that inner knowing that it's going to happen. Then the third thing is whip out your phone or something to take a picture with. Take a picture of those things that you're not too proud of, not too impressed with. This will be your story. This will be your like 0 to hero thing where you're going to be inspiring so many people. Whether you realize it now or not, trust me. You're seeing this video for a reason. Whoa, and either that mic shake just proved it. So other than that, I'm going to say, do these three things. Let me know in the comments how you feel after doing even the first one, second one, third one. And I'm sending you so much love. I'm here for you. You got any questions about anything? I know I haven't got, like I'm covering like years of experience in just like, 20 minutes. So if you got any questions specifically, just let me know. I'll, do my best to respond. And then other than that, wishing you all the best. If you got any value from this video, hit the like button. If you are on it to commit into this, let me know in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, all the YouTuber stuff. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I'm here for you. Much love.